All right, so I've kind of showed you all the toolbars and what to look at. Oh, we need to have the little talk about units. So I know it's kind of like the Mac versus Windows argument. Uh, I know you guys have been brought up in metric units, but this is still the United States of America, and we still use British imperial units. And as engineers, you're going to have to learn to live with that, uh, especially in a couple of areas. So first off, in school here, in that machine shop, most of those machines are from World War II or the 60s. Okay, all the little dials and graduations and everything on them are in inches. They're in British imperial units. So you're going to have to learn how to use them anyway. Our measurement tools, our calipers are in imperial units. So you're going to have to get familiar with inches. You guys are smart guys. As engineers, you should be able to toggle back and forth. A millimeter is 0.0394 inches. It's just a different way of saying the same thing. It's the same length, right? It's just called something different. So you ought to be able to toggle between the two. Another really important area for units is, especially when you're designing things, you can design everything you want in metric units. But if you live here in America and you want to go by screws, it's going to be very hard to find metric screws. They exist. They're out there. And in fact, McGuckins has a pretty nice selection of them. But most hardware stores don't. You're going to find 1/4-inch bolts, not M6s, okay, which are very close. So, and that goes for other things besides fasteners. Thicknesses of sheet. You're not going to find aluminum in 2 millimeter thick sheet. Okay, aluminum is found in gauge sizes, or when you like gauge and 18 gauge, and then when you get up thicker, it's in fractional inch sizes like 1/4 and 1/2. So if you design a part that you want to be 6 millimeters thick, but you don't really care if it was 1/4 of a millimeter or 1/10 of a millimeter bigger or smaller, thick, then you save yourself a lot of time by buying the 1/2-inch plate and making that the metric equivalent, which is 12.69 millimeters. So instead of picking 13 millimeters or 12 millimeters, you might, knowing that you're going to buy this material and you don't want to machine it, the thickness, you might select 12.69 millimeters rather than 12 or 13. And that way you save yourself machining time. That's here in America. The same would be true of an American engineer or an American student who's doing work in China or Britain or Korea. They make everything in metric units. It's going to be very hard to find fasteners or tools or plate thicknesses or sizes of pipe or tube or any of that stuff in non-metric sizes. But here, that's still how everything comes. It's hard. You can find metric screws, but you're not going to find metric sheets, and you're not going to find metric tubes. So if you design for those, you're going to have to order them from overseas, which is going to cost you time and it's going to cost you money. And you may have to machine these things, so that's going to cost you extra time. So be thinking about that when you're designing and using your models. Be thinking about, what are the resources at my fingertips? What can I buy? What's available out there? And then you can still do your models in metric units, but choose your metric sizes based on the materials that you can purchase. You guys get that? Okay. Now, you can go to System Options, and then you can go to Units. We're going to have to open a part to get to Units. So let's go ahead and do File New, and let's do a part. And I'll show you where you can get the units. So most of our engineers do their parts in metric units. You can either do your units down here in, come on, inch, pound, second, or you can quickly change to millimeter, gram, second, or you can do it under tools options. I'm going to stay in inch, pound, second. But if you want to, you can do metric units. But like I said, just be cognizant if you're pretty much sure you're going to buy a 1/4 inch plate, figure out what a 1/4 inch is in millimeters, and then type that in as its metric equivalent. Now, if you're going to do like a rectangular prism, all right, the thickness you're going to buy as a sheet, and you didn't want to machine that, you can make that the English equivalent. But then like your rectangle, that could be metric, right? Let's say it's 30 by 20 millimeters, because you're just going to have the CNC cut that out. So that's no problem, right? CNC doesn't care if it's in metric or English. So you can still work in metric. Just be aware when you're dealing with thicknesses or fastener types what you're doing. All right, so I'm going to stay in inch, pound, second. Any questions or arguments you want to have about units? No? All right. We're going to talk about templates, and that's going to be one of your homeworks tonight, is to make a template for both a part and for a drawing. Now, the vast majority of the time you're not going to use a part template, but drawing templates are very, very, very useful. You use it all the time. So that's the most important one. But we're going to talk about the part template first. All right. So we're going to make a part here, but maybe we like to view our parts a certain way. And I'm going to do a crazy example so that you get the idea, but you can try something yourself. So for example, what if I want the background color, instead of being white, what if I wanted it to be another color? So I could go to Tools, come on, Options, oh no, Tools, Options, and then let's see, what if I did, oh, here's your units, by the way. And then notice I'm in inch, pound, second, and I've gone to 3 decimal places. That's typically a smart thing to do. It's pretty easy with conventional machine tools that you've just toured in the machine shop to get down to accuracies of 3 decimal places in inch units. And I believe that is quasi 2 decimal places in metric units. So it's kind of in the middle. So if you're using inches, you want to probably mostly be to the 3rd decimal place. If you're working in metric units, it's either 2 or 3 decimal places. All right, what if I want to, what if I wanted to set my material properties to pretty much aluminum? We do a lot of aluminums in aerospace, so I set that. What if I want to set, where's my background? How about the colors and viewport background? Let's change that to something nuts, like what's really offensive? How about this pink? Yeah, that's absolutely hideous. So let's do that. And how come it didn't show up? I thought that was my background. We may have to make a part to get it to be that. So let's start a sketch. All right, I'll come back to that. So let's go ahead and start a sketch. So you go to your sketch tab in your command manager, and you hit sketch, and then you have to pick a plane. And it really doesn't matter at this point. You're just making a random part. Let's pick top plane. So there it is. Okay, now why do I not have my pink. I miss my pink. Did I have to hit apply or something? Oh, here we go. Maybe background appearance. Viewport background color above. Let's try that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's just horrible. So, but let's say you like this. Let's say you like it like this. And let's say every part you make and every assembly you open, you want to have this background. And you want to have inch, pound, second. And you want the material to be aluminum. That's a template. Okay? So you can save that template. When you're ready to save that template, go to File, Save As, and then under your Save As Type, pick Part Templates, and that's a star.prtdot. Okay? So I'll save that as...
One says you cannot save that while it being empty.
Are you still in a sketch?
Yeah.
Get out of the sketch. So hit that sketch button and it should let you save it. I can help you in a minute, but I want to show you this because this is part of your homework. So you need to save this, so I'll save it as Katy Perry template. All right. So I'm really sick of this tab opening on me. So every time I open a part now, it would open this template if it was in the right directory. So I've saved that template and it's got everything I want, like this pink background. But in order for SolidWorks to pull it up, I've got to drop it into the right directory. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. You won't need that for your homework. You're just going to upload this for me, this template file, and I'm going to open it up and see what kind of crazy stuff you came up with. But if you wanted to hit File New and you wanted a part, in order for SolidWorks to ask you for templates, you have to tell it to do that. So under your System Options, under File Locations, Document Templates, you can see the folder in which the templates are going to be dropped. So it's under C drive, Program Data, SolidWorks 2014 templates. So if I wanted to add Katy Perry, I'd have to go drop it into that directory. So let's go add Katy Perry to that directory. So it was C drive, Program Files, SolidWorks. Was it SolidWorks? Oh, we're going to have to go back. I lost that directory. File locations, SolidWorks 14. Oh, Program Data. That's where I screwed up. Program Data, SolidWorks 14 templates. Let's drop Katy Perry in there. And you see I've got an assembly one, a drawing one, a Katy Perry, and a part. All right. Now, issue is we got to get SolidWorks to ask us when we do a new part. We have to get SolidWorks to ask us for the template we want. Otherwise, it's going to open that default template. So we have to go to Tools, Options, and say, hey, SolidWorks, default templates, prompt the user to select the document template. Okay? And then we'll hit OK. All right, so now if I open a new part, hey, it It didn't do it. File new part. It didn't do it. I should have done that. SolidWorks can be frustrating in that a lot of times when you change an option or something, you have to reset or open up or close down either your part file, your assembly file, or SolidWorks itself. So just be aware that that can happen. Prompt user to select default template. And then if you see I've clicked this for parts. I've got the standard part template and the Katy Perry template. It should allow me to pick which one. I just changed that to the default back to the default one. So if I open a new part, I shouldn't have horrible Katy Perry staring me down, but I do. So I'm going to close SolidWorks, reopen, and see if it accepted those changes. Any questions so far? So that's a template. That's a part template. You're going to need to make me one. For homework. More important is the drawing template. All right. Let's see if it... So file new. Are you going to ask me? You going to ask me? Nope. I don't know what's wrong there. It should be doing what we're telling it to do. Is it working for you guys?
No, maybe only have one template.
No, I definitely have two, because if you look at the default templates and you look at the directory, I've got Katy Perry and I've got the part. So I don't know what's going on there. Unless I might have saved over this part template, but I don't think I did. And it should be prompting the user to select the document template anyway. So I don't know what's going on there. All right, what I do know is I need to get rid of that hideous pink. That's killing me. So tools, options, colors, and our viewport background is going to be our white. Oh, thank you. Anyway, that's how to make a template, and that's where to drop it. I don't know what's going on there. I'll figure that out for you. Now, more importantly is the drawing templates. These are really important. So I'm going to do a new drawing. Okay. And that's going to bring up some different stuff. So it's going to ask you your sheet format size. These are in ISO sizes, A0, A1, etc. You can go to, I believe one of these is 8.5 by 11. Forget which one. I thought it was A0, but you're going to want to make sure it's 8.5 by 11. Again, that's another British industrial thing. Our pieces of paper are not in metric units. They're 8.5 by 11. So, but if you let's just put this standard sheet size and just throw it on there. I want to show you that SolidWorks, this is annoying, SolidCam does that to me. SolidWorks, I'm going to hit cancel. SolidWorks will put a default title box in here. This is called a title box. And it contains a bunch of information that is useful for the drawing. There might be tolerances, finish callouts, the name of the part, part numbers, all kinds of stuff. SolidWorks has its default title box. But I find that a lot of this stuff isn't super useful, at least here at school. We don't have, unless you're on kind of a bigger project, we don't need a bunch of bureaucracy here where it says whose name is the engineer that drew it, the person that checked it, the approval. We don't need all that stuff. And it kind of gets in the way of the drawing space. So I like to make my own title block. And I think you will too. You'll find that you will too if you start doing some CAD modeling. So as another part of your homework, I want you to make your own drawing template with your own title block. Okay? And I'll show you. I can open one up that I did. And I've also uploaded mine up to D2L if you want to check it out. You can use that as a guide, but don't make it like mine. Make it like yours. This is for style points. And you really want to make it something that's tailored towards you. Something that you like, because you'll be making all your drawings for all your parts, at least in this class and maybe in your college career, on this template. So make it something that you like, that has the information that you want on there. You can make it pretty, you can make it, you can put style points on there, style stuff, or you can just make it super engineered nerdy and have the parameters that you want on there. But I can show you one that I have. So let's do, so go over here to this drop down and have templates. Let's have a drawing template. There's my Katy Perry. Let's have a drawing template out of this one. Aerospace Standard Drawing, DRW-DOT. So here's my part template and here's my drawing template. So I'm going to open that. And here you can see what I did. So I like a lot of open space. And I put University of Colorado Aerospace. Maybe you don't want to do that. You mechanical engineering guys aren't going to want to do that. Or maybe you don't even want your name on there at all, or the department name at all. Maybe you don't care at this point. I have a title so that I have a name for the part. That's pretty common. Part number, that's common. The material, maybe you want to have a box that has quantities for the machinist. Make this many. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to have, I have a little block that says the finish, tolerances, 2 place decimals and 3 place decimals. It's up to you. Maybe you want to have a little block that has a little CU Ralphie on there. Maybe you want to have the little logo for your department. Maybe you got a logo for your team name. Maybe you don't like it in the bottom right corner. Maybe you like it at the upper left or the top right or down along the side. Anything you want to do. Be creative, but try and do something that you're going to use, because you're going to have to make some drawings in this course. So try and make it usable so that it's going to be your same template for the rest of the course. Okay, that's what you need to do tonight. Now you may ask, how did I kind of get all this stuff? So I think the way I started was I used the opening template and I just modified theirs. Or you can right click anywhere in this drawing space and put like tables and insert a general table, and then you can kind of pick columns and rows. Let's say 4x2, and you can do borders, and you can insert a table, and then you can start messing with the table. Now you can double click cells and do some formatting stuff. Now it's not really good formatting like in Excel where you have every option under the sun, but play with it. There's some formatting stuff you can do. Questions here. When you're done, what do you think we're going to do to save it? Save it as a template. So File, Save As. Change this to a template. It's already there. That's nice. Save it. And then if you want that to show up in your version of SolidWorks, you need to drop that into that default templates directory and ask SolidWorks to prompt you to select that when you open a drawing. like I showed you, and it's not working. But try it at home, and I'll try it at home as well and figure out what's going on. Any questions there? So this becomes very useful because you don't want to do this every single time. You don't want to make a new little title block every single time. All right. All right. Oh my God, I'm over on a break. You guys are supposed to remind me. 10:55 was supposed to be the break. You were supposed to be back by 10:10. So we're 6 minutes overdue. 11:16. Take a break. Come back by 11:16.